We cannot shop our way into sustainability. That is a cold hard fact that most of the people don't know, and the ones who know are not willing to accept. Because fashion sustainability is a fundamental myth. It is just not real. And I mean, yeah, it sounds very whatever. That how is it not really? There are so many sustainable brands. There are so many sustainable campaigns. There's so much sustainability content out on the market, and we see reels that top 10 sustainable brands need to shop at, or cotton is made about 100% child free, labor free, whatever free materials. But that's really not the answer to any of the solutions. Fashion doesn't need to be sustainable, because the fashion problem is not a production problem. I mean, it is, but mainly it's a consumption problem. The production exists because there is consumption. And I think for so long we have been fooled into choosing the right brands or the eco-friendly collections. But the problem is that the system is not set up for real sustainability. The fashion industries go to stories that shop better, but and to be honest, with that shop better slogan, they just sort of pass on the risk and the responsibility to the consumer. And we as consumers are just not, I think, taking enough notice of that. Because fashion runs on newness and constant volume. It is all about putting what's out there. And no matter how green a brand sounds, the cycle always stays the same. So it's actually on us to just sort of not consume, because we have so many clothes, we have so much volume of clothes that we don't need to produce anything for the next couple of years. And that's a hard fact. There are millions of case studies and research papers on that. The true trade is about just slowing down, shopping less. And I know that is the standard advice we were given 20 years back, but the problem is that we have not followed through on that. We have been shopping incessantly. We have been shopping and hauling like crazy, every and by we I mean like literally everyone, singling anyone out. And shopping is of course fun. I love shopping more than anyone, unfortunately, but that's really not the solution to anything, because then it just gives an excuse for a brand to be more sustainable and shop more. Essentially, the problem statement here is that how do you consume less, which is something that we all have been struggling with, including me. And the only problem to the sustainability myth is to shop better. Every week new drops are launching, stores are pushing us to buy more. Even brands, when they claim consciousness, they're just overall producing more, and in the end the output and the volume of output, fashion production output is increasing. The result is more garments produced. More garments produced means more resources wasted, and more resources wasted means more waste generated. And until the fashion system shifts from a mass production to mindful creation, sustainability will always be a buzzword, and they will only shift to mindful creation when we as consumers ask for it, which is something we really need to do, because the fashion industry has mastered the language of fashion and sustainability. They know how to sort of fool us in a way that we don't even realize. And it's easy to believe that, what you're buying, if you're buying a recycled clothes, that's good. And that's obviously good, but it doesn't mean that production stops. Production only stops when we stop. And these steps do help, and they would help more if we were at a more controlled state. I think they are sort of the second step of the problem. We're unable to solve the first step, and we have moved on to the second step, which is producing recycling, but we're just consuming as much. So we're also producing on two ways. Now we're producing the regular uh, shitty clothes that we already produce, which is like polyester, Shein, Temu, Zara, H&M. On top of that, we're also producing sustainable. Answer is only sustainable after we have resolved this, but we are doing both, which is not helping anyone at all. A recycled dress will use the same energy, water, and resources to make. And to be honest, sustainable and recycled brands are not accessible. They are accessible, yes, they exist on Instagram and they have websites, but they're not affordable to most people. Even I don't know if I can afford a completely sustainable recycled dress, because it's really expensive. Most people cannot do that, and they don't have enough incentive to do that. So I mean, how are we solving that? There are just so many angles to this problem, and the only real solution is shift the focus from buying better to simply buying less. When you buy less, you automatically buy better. Buying better is again a myth, and buying better ties into sustainability is a myth. Fashion sustainability is a myth, because fashion sustainability is all about buying better, and you don't need to buy better, you just need to buy less. And that is all I have to say. And I know there are millions of micro points that can be added to this video, and there are so many nuances to each sort of circle of supply chain. But I think in the end it all sort of goes into what the consumer wants and what the consumer is demanding and how they are behaving. And if we behave in the way that we idealize the businesses to behave, they will have no option but to do that. So, I mean, yeah, just buy better. And by buy better, I mean don't buy. Just don't buy. Don't shop. Buy. Bye.